stream. So hello and welcome everyone jumping on. I want to welcome you to the third episode of The Couch Tonight stream. So hello and welcome everyone jumping on. Welcome to the third episode of The Couch. It's been going now for 3 weeks. I'm super excited about my guest that I'm hanging out here with. But tonight, really, I just want to, for everyone jumping on, just ask you, because what if an extra $300 could change things for your family? And I'm going to get into my story just a little bit shortly. And a lot of you know that network marketing and my guest tonight is someone who I feel is very much like you and me, who has created something pretty extraordinary. So I just want you to think, what if you could, create something a little bit more special for your family? So as you know, you're and it is The Couch. So tonight I want to welcome my friend who is up in Queensland. He was a Melbourneian originally and then just vanished, left this terrible cold weather for somewhere far more sunny. He's a top bloke, awesome guy. He came from a corporate background and a dad to Tisha and Hunter, and beautiful wife, well, he's a husband to beautiful Jackie. And I'm really excited for him to share a little bit about his journey with network marketing. We did meet in Isagenix. It was in Queenstown, probably. It was the first time. But these guys have been involved for just over 5 years now, and I'm really good friends with them. He has an absolute heart of gold. He'll be sending you virtual hugs and all kinds of videos when you become friends with him. But I want to welcome Adam to The Couch tonight. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me too.
I'm so excited to have you. I know you've had a full-on weekend in Melbourne and just landed back, and now you're hanging out with me. So I'm really glad and grateful that you're here tonight.
Well, the full-on weekend was all about fun.
I've even got the yellow patch. So, for those of you playing at home, yellow means that you're bright personality, and that is Adam through. But tonight, I'm going to ask you, Adam, just to sort of get started. Well, I might share a little bit about me. For you guys who know, I started Isagenix solution. I was training hard, eating clean, doing everything right, and I really that's all it was. I found a quick fix, but what I found was something far more cool. I felt amazing in the process. I knew there was something fundamentally different about it. But what I also found and landed in my lab was an incredible opportunity. I absolutely loved my job. But what I didn't love was only having 4 weeks of just really having shackles, I guess. And I think this is something that Adam's really going to resonate and talk a little bit about tonight. So for me, I pursued it. I within 12 months disinterested in what I was doing, supportive but disinterested. We had his own. But yeah, it very quickly became something more, and we looked at this as a real way forward. Adam, I'm going to sort of, ask you to take it back to the start, because I know that you and Jack were quite healthy, just from a health perspective to start with. You guys said no for quite some time when old mate Scott kept asking you to join. So do you want to tell me a bit about how it was just beforehand?
Yeah, so Jack and I had moved to Queensland, and it's different. It was more about lifestyle, but for a few years I had been looking for something to create some extra income. My favourite book was The 4 Hour Working Week by Tim Ferriss, And so my mate Scotty did approach me about Isagenix from the health point of view 13 times. But on that last time, he mentioned that as well as helping people get healthy, he was making a nice side income, residual income. That attracted my attention. So I said, okay, Scotty, so send me what you earn for the week. He sent it across to me. I was blown away by that extra bit of income. So I decided to give the program a go, and it worked. And obviously, building this business can only happen when you've got such great products, and that's what we've got. So it started off. Obviously, I said I'm not going to share it with anyone unless I get good results. I had good results. My wife had better results. Completely different. Mine was about seeing my abs again. Jackie was more about getting more energy, having better sleep. And that happened for both of us. And then the natural progression, friends just started asking Jackie mainly, why was she smiling so much? I used to tell them because she was married to me, but it was because how different she felt by taking the products. So we started sharing, and it's been the most amazing journey. We get to meet some of the most sensational people all around the world. But it's like anything, and you know this, like anything good, it takes effort, it takes work. But you know, I was speaking to my dad this morning, and I worked for my dad for 22 years. Ran his company. I was in fridges and freezers, you know, minus 23 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is the better way. This is so much easier, more fun, and an adventure, a journey all at once.
Yeah.
So, love it.
There's so many things in what you just said. So you were very successful beforehand. You know, you were working in the family business that was very successful. You moved up to Queensland. You were general manager, and I was working there. As you know, you guys were living in an affluent area here in Melbourne. Like you had a good life beforehand and successful career. And I do want to talk figures tonight, so I'll just stipulate that everything you hear here is a typical. You know, people it's purely a result of people putting in time, effort, and learning and growing themselves in order to create an incredibly good content. So it is available to everyone, but not everyone's going to do it. Not everyone's going to do the work. That's just the reality of it. So Scott introduced you to the product, and interestingly, Scott was the same guy who actually inspired Josh to come on board with me, because, and I know this is very much your story and now our story, is more around having a full-time family.
Yes.
And Scott shared his story at Celebration in February 2014. I dragged Josh to come with me. I'm like, just come with me, come and support me. I bribed you. I said, we'll go to Wet and Wild. We'll go for a little holiday. And, you know, Scott's story really touched home for him because, you know, when Scott's story was, you know, he had a great job. He was like, oh, he just wanted to be with his dad. And, you know, Scott wanted to be home in the park with him on a Thursday afternoon. And it did resonate with Josh because he's like, well, when he grew up, you know, great family life, but his dad had his own business, which was very, very successful, but he didn't get to spend a lot of time with him as a result. So Josh was like, well, when that time comes for us, you know, he wanted to be here, and we absolutely are together now. He's got Ivy in the other room. I can hear her squawking. So he's just keeping her quiet for now. But I know that's the same as you, and I think it was January last year, Tisha, who's 15 now,
Yes.
shared her story here in Melbourne on stage, and didn't get very far in, and there were already tears because I know you guys are very big on being full-time family now and being there for the kids. And I'd even seen that she commented on one of your posts earlier this week going, you know, I'm so glad that you guys are here for us 24/7 now. So do you want to tell me a bit about, I guess, what that has allowed for you? Because, you know, you guys earn pretty much almost a 5-figure income per week, just shy of 10K. So you can get by on that. That's a great income. You guys have earned over $1 million within the company as well, which is a huge, huge achievement. dated me, so this is just normal talk now. But the money's one thing, but being there for your kids is another. So what was it before, and like what is it now for you guys?
Yeah, so yes, Jack and I had great jobs, but we had chosen to send our kids to private school, and so everything we earned went on living, it went on school fees, it went on maybe a holiday a year, but our school holidays were tragic. Like seriously, when you got 4 weeks a year and you've got to put your kids into holiday programs week in, week out over holidays, send them to friends' place, one of you take holidays to look after them. That wasn't ideal. Obviously as a parent, you do everything possible to create an amazing life for your kids. But that was the, I suppose, the moment, those school holidays, where it hurt the most. And, when the kids were early, growing up, I was leaving work at 3 a.m. I was leaving for work at 3 a.m., coming home, spending 2 hours with them, then working again at night. So, ideally, if there was a way I could have gone, it would be to create something around my lifestyle. And obviously Isagenix has provided us with that. Then it sort of, with that time, that post that Tish, you mentioned this week, I still like my time. I'm happy to send them to school, for that period of time of the day. So, it is about time, but I do get to take them to school. I do get to pick them up. If they've got sport on, I can take them. My son and I went to Melbourne for the weekend, spent some time together, have some fun. That's the magic of it. And so I think you mentioned earlier also about that $300 a week. That was exactly the same for me. I thought that would change our life, an extra $300. That would have just taken the edge off school fees. It would have given us a few more choices. And so that's what I was excited about when I started. And with the way our compensation plan's set up, if you choose to and you want to work hard, you can create whatever income that you want. And it's going to be different for everybody. And I'm just so grateful that I'm in charge of that limit, because I shouldn't even call it a limit. I'm in charge of that amount, because up to that point in time, we were both earning good money, but we were both limited by our salary and maybe a bonus, and that was it. And whether it was my dad's business or the other company that I worked for, didn't matter how successful I made the company. That was what it was for me, that amount, and it wasn't bad by any means. But as I got into this journey and saw my Isagenix business overtake my general manager's income, by 4, 5 to 1 a week, it got to a point where there wasn't, because I wanted so much of the time with my kids, there wasn't any point in continuing. So Halloween 3.5 years ago, which is about 18 months into our journey, we were able to stop the corporate gig and create more of a lifestyle business.
Yeah, so 18 months in is when you left, I guess, the workforce.
Yeah.
My family, which is amazing. Incredible.
Yeah, so it was, it always, when it started to grow, I always thought that limit or that amount would be less, but I didn't want to give up the money I was earning. So for another year, I stuck with my corporate job. And, in this business, there are, ups and downs and waves in like any business. And so I wanted to make sure that we were financially secure. And that's how this journey started. Jackie came home from work one day. This is about 8 months into our Isagenix journey. And her boss had sacked the 3 other staff in the office and said to Jackie, "Don't worry, your job is safe, but in September, we'd like you to take a month unpaid leave." And so I remember clearly Jack came home and said, "Oh, geez, I can't believe this," you know. And then she said, "Never again will we let a bank, a government, uh, an employer dictate our financial situation and our choices again." And we were making some reasonable money, $300 above Jackie's salary at that time. And she said, do you think we can make this work? And I said, God, imagine if we put in, we're doing it part-time. Imagine if we put in full-time. So in that next year with Jackie doing it full-time before I left, we were able to create that, that massive amount of money per week and change our lives.
So by the time Jack left, what were you earning on a week?
$1,000.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It was amazing to do in the pockets of your time, and you started for $300 a week, and that's the power of the compensation plan, right? Especially a binary compensation plan that we have that's second to none, and I know that it's tricky for. I've found that and because you're that sort of person where you were comfortable, like you were fine, you had a great life, you were getting by, like things were, you had all that good things. I find that's often a big block because something that really comes between a fantastic life is a good life.
Yes.
And that capped income in a fantastic job can be a real hard thing to leave.
Yeah.
Security, right?
Well, that's the great thing about this is you don't have to. Whether someone chooses to eventually do that, great. But like my daughter's nearly 16. At 18 years old, she will start her Isagenix journey. And imagine her life if over the next 2 years, over the time she's 20, she can create $1,000 a week through Isagenix to follow whatever dream she has, whether that's a school teacher, whether it's walking dogs, patting horses. What a life. Like I'm blessed. I got into this when I was 43. I'm 48. A 20-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old. Like, in this, you get to create it. You're not by yourself. Like, I couldn't get any more excited for anybody, not just youngsters, because I've seen this change my neighbour's life. I've seen it change friends in Melbourne that just said yes to trying the products. And I'm so happy for you and Josh that your daughter you'll be part of her life for the next 18 years and create, like, geez, imagine 18 more years in this. Just mind blown.
Yeah, it is mind blowing. Just as you're speaking, it's like you don't have words to express how incredible it is what we've got. And it's about choice and freedom. That's, I know, what drives me, choice and freedom. Because money means nothing, but money gives you a lot of choice and time.
Yes.
And they're the things that are important in life. Spending time with the people that you want to spend the time with rather than in a cubicle and having to take what you're worth. It doesn't have to be that way, but if there's something that you're really passionate about, and that's what I love, people who love their jobs. Keep it. If you love it. But what if you had an extra $300 with $1,000 a week? What would that allow you to do then? In the school holidays, you could take the kids to China. They've just learned about Great Wall of China in school. Take them, let them experience it, that kind of thing. So you guys have had amazing success. What would your highest week be to date? Because you've been involved for just over 5 years now.
Yeah. Highest week's been 16,500. I'd like to give 20 a go consistently.
Yeah. I remember talking to you. I think it was like UIA in Melbourne last year, and I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. You could do that. But your lifestyle changes as well with that, and this becomes normal conversation.
It does. we moved to Queensland 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I was lucky to be able to fly the family to Melbourne to see our family once a year. I went down for 3 days with my son. I can go whenever I want, which is awesome. So it's the money, the time, it's the adventures. I had this conversation with a friend this week. To me, there is, like, we talked about spoiling our kids. And I said to them, well, for me, there is nothing more important than me looking after my kids. And who better to spoil than your own kids? Like, if they were rude to me, there'd be a different story. But, we get to create, I think the time that we spend with them allows us to create such a great relationship with them that that's probably the best part of this journey is watching them grow up without having the limitations that maybe we had through our 20s and 30s. Their mindset is completely different. The way they look at situations completely changes because of this Isagenix journey, because of, the people that they get to meet at events, the other kids they get to meet. And, I continuously get blown away. We've had some amazing mentors in this journey already. And, you look at those I was 15th this year in Australia and New Zealand. I look at the top 14 and the lives they're creating. And, 4 years ago, they were just getting started. 5 years ago, they're just getting started. I was blown away when I saw, Jen and Jono earning $1,000 a week when I started. It's possible. Anyone can do it. I'm sure you've told your team that. It does take work.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is totally possible. And I remember when I just started, and one of my friends was, I remember she was like just over $1,000, right, a week. And I was like, wow, imagine getting that. But it's just so possible for everyone. It's just so possible for everyone, and I think just being able to think that little bit bigger. I've got to ask you about, you said no for a long time.
Yes.
You were like, no. And I know Jack was skeptical.
Yeah. Oh, she was painful.
Tell me about it. I want to know about that, because here's the thing. A lot of people come into this skeptical. Josh was. He was skeptical, but he wasn't cynical. There's a big difference. So he was skeptical, like, well, you can. And now, we're on the journey together, and you guys are on the journey together now as well. So tell me about how you dealt with that. I know a lot of people want to do this, but there are half this kind of bit like,
So my month, December 2012, happened. I chose to do it over Christmas, which might have been silly, but not really, because Christmas is fun and I like to do things that others say that can't be done. So I did it over Christmas, and then I said to Jack, hey, you really should give this a go. And for the next couple of months, it was no chance in hell. Like, this is from a product point of view. But Jack was tired all the time. She'd force the kids into bed. She'd go to bed and have 10, 12 hours sleep and wake up as though she hadn't slept. Painful comes to mind. And then, she was naturopath, $150 a month. Most of our friends would have thought we were, up the healthy scale in what we chose to do. Like, when I started, I was vegan, didn't drink alcohol. That has changed since Isagenix. What else? I just ate fruit and veggies. I've never had a coffee. And so, to get changes in Jack, to get her to do it was like, I think it was husband and wife type thing. And eventually I asked her one question, and it was, is what you're doing currently working? And she had to be honest and say no. So she gave it a go, and day 4 was better sleep, day 15 was the energy. Now, we might have lost Di there for a second. If I'm still on, I'll keep talking. Yeah, so Jack eventually gave it a go, and then her friend started to ask why she was smiling all the time and why she was looking and feeling so good. So we shared it. Just pause here for a second. I can't see the screen, so I can't answer anyone's questions. So we'll just wait a second, see if Di comes back on. Okay, I've looked it up on my phone. We've lost Di, but keep talking. So I will. So Jack gave it a go. Her friends loved it. There we go. Now I'm going to continue on with where I were, Di. Good to have you back. But you spoke about numbers. Can you hear me?
Vanished.
Awesome. So to give, 2014, so we'd been in a year. Jack and I were Australia, New Zealand top business builder. And a couple of things we probably should cover is we've done it sort of our way. And then this amazing guy came into the company called Brett Davis and broke all records, like seriously. And Jack and I attempted to copy more of what Brett did instead of what had worked for us. And we flatlined over that next year because we weren't being true to who we were and how we had built our Isagenix business. So the number one thing I tell all my team that want to build a business is be you and build it what works for you. And the second flip side part of that is because we are all different, it's important to educate your team on what other people are doing, like what Brett does or like Jackson or Kylie or Scott, because that may resonate with that person more than what, say, I do. But if you can be you and you enjoy what you're doing, they'll make the most difference.
Yeah, spot on. And I missed a couple of minutes there. I thought you had dropped off. I'm like, oh no, crap, it's me. When I started, I had a background of graphic design. So I was like, well, everyone's just going to do it my way. But it wasn't that. And then every year, because I sort of kind of started properly in January, every year I try and do the same thing with my team. But like it wasn't happening because they're not me. But they have now that there's so much freedom and creativity that's that they can use, and they're like, permission, go and do what works for you. They're getting fantastic results. Some are doing in-homes that really work. Some are coming from a space of, doing mindset work and doing group sessions like that and all kinds of things. And as soon as, everyone's got something special to give. Everyone does. And the vehicle we've got is Isagenix. And, there's not a person in the world who I don't believe either needs to lose weight, gain weight, build lean muscle, needs more energy, wants to be healthy on the inside, detox, or needs more money. There's not a single person who doesn't need one or more of those things. So it's just about, what is it that aligns with you and lights you up, and share that.
Yeah, and that entrepreneurial part of it comes up into you enroll them. And then it's important to follow, the systems that are duplicatable because a classic example, if you're inviting people to, say, the celebration event, the way I would do it is like, oh my God, we're going to have a party, let's go. And I might be covering off, say, a quarter of the people that are in my team. Whereas, another quarter will want to know about the facts and figures. Another quarter will want to know that they're going to have the best strategies and learn the best strategies at celebration. And then the last section might want to know that, they might meet their future best friend there, or the community side of it. So we're all so different, but, even the top 50 in the world are also different.
Mm.
And so it's, how good's that we can be ourselves, and that we can be, we can try things that work for us or don't.
Yeah. And, I want to tie it up with something that you just said. It's so much about, look, the products work, the pay structure is phenomenal. But I tell you what, the community, the friendships, the people that you get to meet, like, we're not financially linked at all. We've had so much fun at so many different events. Josh and I absolutely love you and Jack. You guys are awesome just in every way. And there's so many others within our community who are like that. And, take the products away, take the compensation plan away, take those things away, I would cry. But the friendships that we've made and the people we get to hang around, it's just positive. There's no bullshit around it, and I'm so excited that I'm going to get to bring Ivy up in that kind of environment where, it really is a big love fest.
Well, it's like, for my kids being closer to 18, in the next couple of years, if they want to travel the world, they'll seriously be able to just go, oh, I'll go and, hey, Dad, can you ring Warren Lance and can we crash there for a couple of days? And then, we've got a team now in the UK and Ireland, and we're opening up in Belgium and Spain. Like the life that, they'll be able to crash on people's couches. If they go to a country that someone would put up their hand and say, hey, I'll pick Tisha from the airport and make sure she's settled. And how good's that? Like, seriously, these people around the world are just excited about every day that they get to share this, and they're excited about every day that we get to enjoy life, and that's what I love. The choices that this brings, it can give you the time to read a book, or it can give you the time to help someone. I gave a book to a friend this week that's not on Isagenix that I've met through the gym, and it's seriously just that little act has changed her week, but it changes how they think about life and what it's about.
Mindset's so important.
Yeah.
You're the first person I've had a really good conversation about family life since Ivy's been born, and so many things that I hadn't thought of and I'm excited about, and things that I would never even know, like how hard school holidays can be, and knowing that, when she's older, she can go to the other side of the world, and, a friend can give her that same surroundings that she's, surrounded by at home. So, it's just, still to this day, it's like mind-blowing, the opportunities, and, so much more than a box that arrives on your doorstep.
Yeah, so another thing that I've thought about for the future is, okay, so I love events, and you imagine in 5 years' time, there's a celebration in London, and you can say to your kids, hey, let's all go to celebration in London and then go off and do a week at the Greek islands. Like whatever life they're creating, wherever they are in the world, I think it's just an amazing way that we'll, as a family, we'll be able to stay in contact and together. Because like we've got Nashville coming up this year, and New Zealand, and next year Bahamas, and so all these different places that I may never have got to. So this opportunity creates adventures as well, which I love.
Yeah. And it's adventure after adventure, isn't it? It's incredible. I still pinch myself every single morning, and just so grateful that it landed in my lap, and that I had the courage. Well, I said yes, but I had the courage to keep going when, because things come up. People have things to say, and, it's like anything. There's ebbs and flows, but it's created something more than I could ever imagine. And, as it has for you, I'm so grateful that you shared everything tonight. Is there anything you want to leave us on tonight?
Is there anything you want to ask me?
Well, I can't see any comments.
Okay, I just looked on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So,
Go for
so Matt and Sean and Stacey have all said they love the community. Molly filled me in that we had lost you, which was good.
Excellent. Thanks, Molly.
Sean, I like that. He earns that well in 4 months. So, okay, that's a great point. Now, yes, we have been successful in Isagenix, but I'm sure everyone knows what a cycle is. Could I share my first 6 months of cycles?
Go for it.
In my first month, I didn't make a cycle.
So for those who aren't involved, a cycle is $60.
Okay, yeah.
Paid in cycle every single week, every single Tuesday we get paid. So go for it.
So that first month I enrolled one person, and back then it was a $23 product introductory bonus. So no cycles, but my second month I made one cycle, and my third month, and seriously, I jumped for joy when I made that first cycle. You know, that I didn't have to go to work. You know, yes, I was working at night helping people with their health. So that second month, one cycle, third month, one cycle, my fourth month, 3 cycles, my fifth month, 5 cycles, and then my sixth month, 8 cycles. And so, you know, the start of this journey was, or when I look back, it was so slow, you know, because I didn't really talk to many people at the start because I didn't know what I was talking about. Many would say I still don't know. But you know, patience is part of this. I can hear myself. I'm going to turn this down. So your journey is up to you, but it still excited me, you know, that 5, that 8 cycles, that this was a way forward to change everything about my life. And when I got to that $300 limit, there was no way I was going to stop. Well,
you saw what was possible then. It's like, well, if you can make 300, you can make more than that.
If you make 300, you can make 500. If you make 500, you can make 1,000. It's the limit's only what you place on it. You know.
Yeah. If you make 500, you can make 10,000 a week.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's cool. Anything else that I'd like to cover? You know, I'm very lucky. I have a lot of fun doing this. You know, I have fun with the no's. I have fun with more fun with the yeses. But we're really in its basic form. We're offering people a solution to a problem that they've got. And you covered them off before, you know, with the different solutions we provide. Just go and create what you want to create in life. This is a vehicle like no other. I've been in business 27 years running traditional businesses, and I still get goosebumps when I hear someone, you know, making their first cycle or hitting something that's important to them. And we sometimes forget that, you know, one cycle a week is $3,000 a year. Five cycles a week. Like, it's crazy. It's 16,000 a year. You know, that's extra.
And it's uncapped.
Yeah. Uncapped.
Completely uncapped. So, you know, going from a traditional job where you can be very successful in your career and earn multiple six-figure incomes, but it's still capped.
Yes.
And you don't have time. So it's just amazing what we can create. And when you just, you know, open your heart and mind to try something new, it's amazing.
Yep.
I'm going to love you and leave you there. Thank you so much, Ads, for tonight. I'm really grateful that you've given me the time, especially just jumping off a flight and getting straight home. I'm sure Jack just wants like an hour with you.
Oh, she's probably out there with my daughter watching the end of the Commonwealth Games or The Voice or something. So I'm absolutely honoured that you asked me to share. To all the people that are on your live, just give it a go. Like, give it a proper crack. Don't have one toe in. Like, just commit to 6 months, a year. Grab a friend and do the same, and your life will never be the same. Like, my neighbour posted on Facebook today, Facebook friends of 5 years. He's come back from the mines. He spends time with his family. You know, we've been to like 10 different countries together in the last 5 years with Isagenix. You know, we've won trips. Hey?
Who's your neighbour?
Stephen Amaran.
Ah, right. Okay.
And, you know, the photos that we've got from the UK and Fiji and that, it's priceless. I'll finish with this little bit. You know, Stephen worked away at the mines. He was able to build a nice Genix income, come home. One thing he didn't realise was that his youngest son cried every night that his dad was away. So if you're a FIFO worker, which, you know, Stephen had to do that to support his family, but, you know, with a bit of effort, it can change everything. And, you know, watching across that fence, seeing what a difference in their life it's made, like, just poke your head over the fence and introduce it to your neighbour or introduce it to someone down the street, because it can change their lives.
Brings families back together. So good, Ads. Thank you so much. You have an awesome week.
I will. Can't wait.
All right. Have a great night. I'll speak to you tomorrow about Airbnb.
Yes, you bet. Another adventure.
Night.
Night. Bye.